Well, I guess it's a transmedia creation because it brings different pieces of knowledge with different mediums and different um, artworks. So it's like it's the information about it, it's dispersed into different objects. So like one is the sound work that is very sound based and focused on this underwater sounds. And then there's the publication that is focused on the idea of a fluid shape and of space and the body holding space. Um, and yeah, in this sense, I think it's, and then the space is different, so the audience can encounter the work differently, where like if they go into the, if they went into the exhibition space, or if they look at the publication, or if they listen to the soundscape online. Um, yeah, in this sense, I think it's a transmedia creation because it uses different media, but not to translate the concept, but to actually add more knowledge about it through the different medium. Not to a big extent. Yeah, as I said before, I do struggle with this idea of co-creation in my work, like how to do it, you know, that is ethical and inclusive and not exploitative. And yeah, for this work, it just felt more important to for me to actually do it and then let the other people experience it. And you know, yeah, involve, like, there is no work without the audience, so there is a participation in the sense that of course every person would need to listen to the work or go through the actual space or read the publication, or you know, do participate in how the publication is put together, re-put together after being read. So that obviously it involves participation in this sense, or interaction, actually interaction with the works, but not really co-creation. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but no, because it's not audience. No, just because in the beginning I asked, like as part of research, I asked some of my friends to do listening exercises with me, like in different spaces, because we couldn't meet physically. But that is not audience. That's more like research based on, yeah, working with other people. Yeah, that's hard. That's a question of art, live art.
Yes, it's very odd.
It's a big question, which I don't attempt to answer it fully. But in this case, I think we were all aware that situations can change, and that like I was aware that maybe the work, if I'm thinking the work for a live audience, the work, it might not happen in a live environment because of the current situation. Um, so I guess in this sense, this is also why I decided to work on it, and then have this, I don't know, different possibilities of showing it. It could be in a real space, but also it could be online, or yeah, I think the audience is important, especially to a performance. But I chose not to do a performance. Also, as part of this, one of the reasons was this, because I wasn't sure this could happen. And I mean, also for this work, it was more important for it to be an installation. Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think audience is necessary. It can also be online now. You know, we have the tools, we have the techniques. We can have online audiences, and that's also okay. Of course, there's another relationship that's being established if there is live audience. I guess for me, what was really interesting was because for Cluj, for the showcase in Cluj in Romania, I did the prototype took the shape of a sound walk, but without me being the guide to it. It was I printed some sort of indications, exercises on the fence that was surrounding a pond. And then the idea was that the audience could go around and read the exercises or the notes. They weren't very direct exercises, but for example, 3 sounds heard from above, the sound of your steps. So there would be indications to sound that they could physically hear, or that they could think of from the memory, like a sound that you like or that you dislike, or so they could connect their oral memory or their physical presence to the space. And for that, there needed to be a live audience, a physical audience, but I wasn't needed there as a guide or as a performer. It was the work itself performing itself in this way. So I thought that was interesting as a way of thinking, that sometimes it's also possible that the audience can do in their own terms, and the work can suggest a certain actions or a certain way the body moves, because also in this case the pond was so they had to move around to see all the text if they wanted, of course, to read all the text around. So it was also the idea of the body moving around the work to experience the whole work. I wouldn't say that transmedia changed the way I create. I think it did change a lot in the past, in the recent time, but I think it did change more because of my life and because of what's happening in the world. And I think that affects everyone, like in to an extent, and not only thinking about art, but just thinking about basic questions of like how we live our lives and what's the point of art, and what, I don't know. I think I went through a lot of thinking recently because of the situation that is currently happening in the world, like on a personal level, but also on a more like thinking more on a bigger level of the role of art, the role of art institutions, how can that function in the world at the moment or in general, and what do we bring as artists. So I think it brought more, the situation brought a lot of thoughts to think about. And, also through my work, but I think my work just changed, not necessarily because of transmedia, but changed because some life happened. Changed because life happened. Yeah, I think so. I think it's something that it's interesting to use and maybe to explore more mediums. And in general, I think work. I think a work opens up other ideas, and I appreciate when it's divided into, or when the meaning is spread across different platforms or different mediums. So yeah, I think I will continue.
Okay.